welcome. How are you,
Yay.
Scott? Welcome back to your show. Welcome back to our show.
I'm a little under the weather. I'm going to do my best to be chipper and cheerful, but I've got a cold. I slept in a hotel room where the air was blowing directly on me all night, and it just messed up my sinuses and my throat and my whole head. So, but I'm back home at least, and I'm back into my rhythm and my regular routine, I should say. My bed, yes, back in my bed. But how are you, Lynn? It's been a long time. We haven't talked all week.
I know, and I missed that when that happens, but it's been a busy, productive, good week. And just finished doing a show, which I guess you missed, but you sang a great song to Debbie, and that was great.
Well, Debbie's having a birthday, and I didn't want to miss out, so I sang her a little something.
Yes.
It's not going to win a Grammy, but if it put a smile on her face, that's all I care about.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to keep it forever, and just like how I need to be able to look at my hair.
It looks good.
Just took it out of the ponytail. But I want to save it forever, and like I want it to be like on my phone at all times, like my screensaver. That's what it says. When my phone rings, it says Debbie.
She loved it that much, Scott.
Oh, I'm obsessed with it. That's amazing. Thank you, Scott. You're so
well.
Awesome.
Listen, I didn't write the song. It was "Hey There, Delilah" by the White Tees. But I just kind of I changed the words a little bit.
It was a Debbie instead of
like,
Delilah.
"Hey there, not Debbie. What's it like to have a birthday? You're 1,000 miles away, but girl, you still get all your wishes." So, I mean. I don't know if you are 1,000 miles away. I don't even know how far we are. But
yeah, it's 1,000 miles.
What?
Where are you?
I'm in Florida.
You're in Florida.
I'm as far south as you can go before you actually have to learn a new language.
So I'm in Ohio. So.
Well, that's quite a distance.
Yeah, I think it's about 1,000 miles. I think there's 1,000 miles between.
I think I went 1,000 miles just to go up to North Florida. Because I went from Fort Lauderdale to Panama City, which is right near Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I could not fly directly there. I had to fly to Austin, Texas first to catch a flight to come over back to Florida. It was crazy. It was just horrible.
It is a long trip. Mark, oh look, Debbie.
Hey, Mark.
How you doing, Scott? Nice job there with the song.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
Gosh, and your fancy pants, Mark. Facebook Barry White, baby.
Oh, absolutely. Gotta go Barry. Gotta go Barry. Gotta go low.
How low can you go?
Good
that
stuff.
Was low. It was almost ominously low.
Once.
Let's do it again. Do it again.
What did he do?
Yeah.
So I've got this thing called the Rodecaster Pro 2. And it is a.
What did he do?
Yeah, Lenny's here too.
What's up, Lenny?
Hi, Lenny.
Hi, guys. Excuse me.
Oh, is that what you? Oh, that was you did the voice there. All right.
Hi, Lenny.
Hi, guys.
Okay, who's got the I'm not vibrating.
Lynn. It's that kind of show.
Who's got the?
Lynn, that's your old life. That's your other thing you used to. That's your old stuff.
Boy, scared Lenny away or something. And Bob Donnell is in the house.
Every show.
So if anybody ever wondered why you hear that echo on podcasts sometimes, now we know what causes it. Lynn, explain how that works.
No, I do have bloopers every now and then, and so I'm just glad Bob is here. He's just getting me out of a pickle.
Bob, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Scott?
All right.
Oh, thank you, Bob, for my beautiful message.
So,
of course.
But yeah, so it was such a collaborative effort of everybody doing that, and I said to everybody, shh, and did this, but I knew that I'd get away without murder because you really were like,
I was.
No, Lenny, are you back now?
I knew that I'd get away without murder because.
Are you? Yeah, it's an echo, but what is playing in the background? You've got. There we go. Lenny, I think you've got either your cell phone and your laptop on. You got a lower one or mute one or the other. I muted you purposely right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cell phone and your laptop on.
It's a delay.
Yeah, it's a delay. He must
Well,
have-
listen, that birthday show was such a well-kept secret that I didn't know about it.
Hey,
Say, hey, Scott, send a present, but we don't want you there.
that is not true.
Story of my life. Story of my life.
I was gonna play everything here, but she says, Lynn, I've got to do mimosas like at 6:45 in the morning. I got to get ready for my thing. I don't think I'll show up to this show today. And so, yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, oh no, we got to do this.
Oh, look who's here.
Yeah.
We got Dr. Love in the house. We got Dr. Love. Come on,
Hello, Barry.
Come on, Barry.
Oh my gosh. And Flo. Oh my gosh.
Flo?
You guys have to buy her raspberry jelly. Oh my God. And you know what? I'm a lightweight when it comes to any alcohol. I had just a spoon of that Merlot thing. I was like, I think I'm going to get drunk.
Wait, that was the thing?
What?
It should just be the
Apple.
flavor.
I know, but to me, it's like I'm just a sensitive girl. I just don't usually drink
It's
whatever.
just-
But oh, it's so good.
With raspberry jam? What is it?
Raspberry jam. Oh my gosh.
Well, now, what
it
is
is-
it? What is it? Is it a
It's alcoholic.
It's a gourmet.
something you put
jam.
on your body? Is something you consume? Or something you spread? What do you?
Well, it does come in a sheet of variety of things, but I don't think I saw that on there.
It depends on your kinky style.
When,
No, but it is. It's Farm Girl Edibles, is what it's called. So I guess.
Incredible. Baby. It's
I think I still stand by my name. I still think it should be called Flow Jam with little tunes
Jam.
inside of it. Slow. It's instead of Slow Jam, it's Flow Jam with a lot of flavor. You know.
I like that.
Nice
But
and
it's not
crispy.
that kind of edibles. So make sure you get that.
But it doesn't have to be.
But that's
Right.
the name in there, Farm Girl Edibles. You should
And
have
it
asked
would
me.
be really, you could market it to like just mom and pop eating it on toast or to bachelorette parties. They'd buy that crap like crazy.
Yeah.
They'd be giving it as their
Hey,
bridesmaids
it's far
gift.
from crap.
Little
It's
Flow Jam.
delicious. And you know what? I gotta just say they come like in 9-ounce jars, but I swear they feel like they weigh a pound or 2 pounds. They're really dense. I mean, like, I don't know. Bob, don't you think that? Don't they feel like they're more than 9 ounces? Seriously.
I never get to taste them long enough to feel the weight.
Maybe Barry can come up with a new book.
50 ways to spread your jam.
Hi, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Wait. You got to use that voice to say flow jam. I just got to
Yeah,
hear
well, I
that.
gotta hear it.
Flow jam.
Oh, that's your commercial right there. That's it.
It's a wrap.
That's it.
You just let him have the voice and you move your mouth with your jam.
There you go.
That's marketing.
I'm into it. I'm into it. I love it.
Oh my gosh. You
Oh,
know,
this show went a weird place real fast.
Oh,
you know,
it did.
I'm gonna bring
It
it back
did.
with the I'm gonna bring
And
it back with
Joe's not even here.
yeah, not yet.
Not
I'm gonna
yet.
bring it back with the topic of being kind instead of being right. And I think we're talking all kinds of stuff tonight, but as far as kind, I'm glad that Scott picked this topic. And Scott, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the flow jam. Can I buy that somewhere? I got to know where to get it.
Oh, it's on my page. I'll send you the link. I'm telling you, it's so good.
I'm telling you, that
Okay.
name, Flow Jam, it sticks.
And she does. I think
I'm
she
stuck
calls
with it.
Listen, she calls it something different than what you know how we know peanut brittle, but she calls it peanut
Crackle.
crackle. Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was getting my order and I thought I was getting it, but that's what I was looking forward to. But the jams, oh, I'm good till that stuff comes in. I put in another order because I didn't want to run out.
Awesome.
The addiction begins.
Stockpiling it.
Yeah, I might even have to do another order when I get off of here. Who knows?
The main line.
I one of the reasons I brought up the topic of it's better to be kind than to be right is because I got a chance to see a lot of humanity in the last week with my travels. Spending enough time in airports, you get to see the best and worst of humanity right there.
Amen.
And you get to see a whole lot of opportunities for kindness just go by the wayside, and instead people arguing about the dumbest things and about things that really don't matter. Not taking the opportunity to elevate yourself in any way by being nice to another human being. And it shocks me every time I see that. And it harkens me back to the days when I was so self-centered. I was wrapped in my addiction. I was wrapped in the violence that I was living in. I was wrapped in all that. And everything had to be about being right. But my existence was miserable, and so was the existence of the people who were around me, including my kids and my wife and my other family. It wasn't until I started to embrace kindness that I started to figure out what things really are all about. I'll give you a quick something as simple as going to the grocery store, and we're ringing up our groceries, and we've got all of our meats and our vegetables, and everything's getting rung up. And the person who's ringing us up is making about $8 an hour. And they're trying to figure out how they're going to feed 3 kids when they get home tonight while they're ringing up food that they can't afford. And instead of me being kind or something, I'm on my damn cell phone just texting away while I walk through the line and ignoring her existence or his existence and not lending anything of myself or giving anything of myself.
Here.
It is just horrible. It is just horrible.
There's no one here now. That's all right. Maybe if you could.
God? Hello? God, are you there?
You see, Mark, he's like, that's my voice. That's me.
It's horrible when the inner thoughts work their way out. And you just have no control. Wow. We just got a glimpse into the mind of a madman, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why I brought that topic up, because my life changed when I started embracing kindness over being right. You know, I could be right whenever I want to. Just be alone and you're right all the time.
Hey, Scott, can I ask you a question about that?
Please.
Who did you have to become in order to be have that sensory acuity of people around you?
You know what? I had to become me again. Me that I was born to be. Me, the kid who, if you've got a big red truck and you're at the playground, you're my best frickin' friend. And it didn't matter what side of the tracks you came from, or how much money you had, or what color your skin was, or whether you had 2 moms, 2 dads, a mom and a dad. Nothing mattered other than the moment with that kid. And I had to reattach myself back to that to realize that's the best part of life. Is every opportunity you have to make connections with other people builds who you are. Yeah. And that's what I had to reattach to, and that's who I had to become. And from that, I started to reattach myself to the things I used to love, like music and laughter and just people.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is the guy that my senior year, his junior year, because I was supposed to graduate with him. You know, we shared a locker, and you know, give me a hug and a kiss during the day, and he'd have 7 to 10 carnations because he wanted to go make 10 to 7 girls happy a day.
Wow.
He'd start with me and he'd go down the line, you know. That's the Scott that I know.
Wow. Well, that was junior high. I was just trying to get laid.
No, that was high school, and I don't know anything about that.
I'm kidding.
But no, but seriously, that's the kind of guy. I mean, granted, he did have a business card that said Sir Walter Scott, but we won't go there. And he stapled it in my yearbook. I kid you not.
You had a business card in high school?
Yeah.
I had a business card in high school. So that was what? 40 years ago, I had a business card walking around as a 14, 15, 16-year-old, and it said Sir Walter Scott on it and my phone number.
I'll show it to you guys
phone,
someday.
obviously.
Landline.
I used to, landline. I used to hand it out to people. But, you know, the funny thing is that I was trying to pretend my way into a character because I couldn't stand who I was, my place in life, and how my life was going. Yeah. And there came a point where, you know, probably more to what Bob's point would have been, is I said, why pretend to be that person? And why don't you just start being that person that you want to be? Yeah. Stop trying to pretend to be something you're not and start becoming something that you're not. If you're not happy with who you are, you know, I say it all the time. I'm the one with the pen. I'm the one with the pad of paper. I'm writing my story. If I don't like that last chapter, I write a new one. And that's how I had to move forward. And I love people now. People are they're the ultimate source of warmth, and certainly the ultimate source of humor. So
and what was fun back then is like Scott and I would see each other just at the beginning of the day, and you know, when we hooked up in school, he knew me as Eileen before, And then all of a sudden I was Lynn. So he knew I was trying to get my own character going, and he had his own character going.
What the hell did I know?
So-
I thought you were Italian up until 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's for another show. Anyways, but seriously, it is, when you see around you, there isn't many kind people around sometimes. You have to step it up and be kinder than the people that are not around you. Because like they say, be what you want to see more in the world. And so I've learned to be kinder. And it was on Father's Day this year that really hit me hard because I've gone through a lot with my dad, a lot. I mean, from loving to physical to, emotional to verbal abuse. I mean, for years and years. And, I just always just loved to love him. And, and it was hard when my mom was alive and she passed away. So again, I've learned that I stay around difficult people, and I've learned that I've allowed them to get away with a lot of stuff and, let it be. But mostly it's because I was catatonic. Most of it because being an introvert, I'd be quiet. I don't like to make waves, but it's given me passion to, for everything I've been through in my life. I put up with a lot of shit, but I'll be damned. My friends, ain't nobody screwing my friends over, and I watch out for them because I didn't have a voice then. I have a voice now for everyone else because when I see the shit going on, I don't allow it anymore. And that's mostly, I think it's for the girl in me that I couldn't save or couldn't help or couldn't speak for, but mostly because I don't want to see anybody else go through half of the shit that I went through in my life. So, so that's why I never try to be right, but I try to bring kindness because the most mean, ignorant people in this world, they're sad, they're lonely, they've got issues they haven't contend. So I've got to have compassion for them because they don't know any better.
Lynn, do you have a voice for yourself now too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. I do every day. I tell it to their face. They don't understand. Then I guess when situation comes, I'm like, well, but my biggest thing that I've learned is it's not my place to save and help everybody either. It's everybody has a lesson to learn. And the one time after my hysterectomy and I almost died, I mean, I was like, God is good. And like, I wanted to like just save everybody from their soul and their spirit. And, you kind of look a little crazy when you're doing that. But I realized that all I just wanted to do is to save so many people from the things I went through. And so, but I've been able to see what God does, and how karma works and all those things. And so, so I just realized that I just have to pray harder for those that are not like that. And I remove myself from the situations that are not comfortable because obviously some people don't realize when they're being rude. It's their nature. They spill it out. They can talk kind, but they'll say one thing that erases everything they say. And so I see that so much and I don't tolerate it anymore. I just sit there and go, I can't change it. I can't help them because they don't see that they have a behavior problem. So
speaking about that prayer thing for a second, part of my
Yes.
background is also was a spiritual practitioner from my spiritual center I go to, and for over about 20 years, and we would pray for people after service. And it's new thought, ancient wisdom type stuff. It's not traditional, but I would see people come back more than once, oftentimes for the same thing. Now I know in the prayer, I know the truth about who they are and know what's happening for them. But if they don't get it, or they don't act on it, they don't choose it, that's nothing to do with me. So I've learned, that was one of the lessons I learned over the years, is sometimes I'd see somebody come back over years almost. And I just go, you know what? I'm going to keep praying for them the way I know how to pray. I'm not going to talk them out of it or try to convince them of it. I'm just going to let them know the truth. Because that's what they come for. They come for support and prayer, which is great. But what they do with it is up to them. I have no control over that. And so I learned detachment big time in that lesson. So what you said is true. The lesson. The thing I also speak to what you said, Scott. It's one of the things I've done for a long time. Whenever I check out the grocery store, I'm always connecting with the person behind the register because that's the chance I get to connect with them. Because otherwise, I'm in my own little zone walking through the aisles. But check out with them, the person, and also because I just for me, I go to the store, I ride my bike, so I have a bag I put on my back. I don't carry shopping bags because the bike wouldn't work for me. So I'm always like having to explain how the bag works, which has become a whole new joke in the store I go to. I go Trader Joe's near me, so they know me now. So it's always like a rapport and friendship and connection when I'm checking out. So for me, that's the joy of going grocery shopping.
Absolutely.
Nice.
The opportunity for the best conversations you're ever going to have are those conversations that come up in an impromptu moments, just with a stranger, and
Yeah.
it's incredible. Listen, if I stayed around the same circle of friends the rest of my life and didn't not expand, I learned nothing new. I gained no new insight, and I gained no new experiences. You have to always expand your circle, always extend yourself. And we miss so much. You're right. We walk around with blinders on, and that's kind of like that separatist attitude is why people can take advantage of countries and communities and families, is because everybody's got that separate, and they take advantage of that. If we didn't act like that, nobody, not the politicians, anybody else, could take advantage of us, but they do, because we're all so busy trying to be right, we forget just to be kind.
So what do you guys think it is that causes people to want to be right over kind?
I think it's because they haven't been heard. They haven't been heard, and they're like, just once can I be right or be heard. I think a lot of people want to be right because like for whoever's right, it seems like they.
Let's see if I can hear it now.
Hey, we hear that music. I think he's in his own world. I'm gonna mute him out for a second.
Oh, the dogs are barking tonight. Let me tell you. Wow.
but I think the problem is that the people that want to be right want to be heard. So like, I think if you're right, then people will hear you. I mean, I'm kind of assuming that.
I'm going to take it to the other side and say I think it's got a lot to do with our own insecurities, that us just being there isn't enough. Me just showing up and being a part of a group, it's not enough. I need to separate myself or prove myself, and being right is a way to prove ourselves. To just show up and just be okay with everything isn't enough for our own insecurities. We have to somehow prove ourselves and things like that. That's why people put degrees on walls and do things like that, because we're constantly trying to prove that we're good enough. Yeah. And when you know you're good enough,
that's wow.
What do you think about that, Bob? Yeah, Bob, what's your thought on it?
Well, I mean, I'm more of a behaviors from the standpoint of I love to learn from what other people think it is. So that's why I asked the question. But
you need to answer your own question though. Yeah, I mean, I need to go get that little.
He didn't see the rules. He didn't see the rules.
Yeah, what rules? And the rules are meant to be broken, right? I think for me, what I've realized over studying that is that people want to be or choose to be right, or choose to try to be right versus being kind, because to them, if they're right, they have the ability to be kind, and they don't understand that kindness can come before. They use it as a prerequisite. If I'm right and everyone accepts me and everyone approves of me and everyone agrees with me, then I can be kind.
Yeah.
Versus if I'm just working at being kind, they don't realize that you don't have to be right to be kind. And right. I love the subject matter, Scott, because the idea is one's not exclusive of the other, but one can certainly lend itself to make you even more kind by your influence, your ability to influence.
But that puts us at levels then, though, because if I'm thinking if I'm right, it's easier for me to be kind. It means that I elevate myself up enough to be kind.
Right.
Instead of thinking literally where we're all at the same place. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It really doesn't matter. Kindness is kindness. There is no intelligence and or money or success attached to kindness. None at all. So I love to hear what Debbie thinks.
What's the basis for that? And what I would have to come back to is ego.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
Which I want to interject real quick and say, I think it's the same thing that some people think they demand respect, but they don't give respect.
Mm-hmm.
But another piece of that, though, is, and to speak to what you said, Bob, I think a lot of times people being right, and actually anchoring what Scott said before, it's validation. There's something about we don't count unless we're right. Like it's almost an ego for ourselves. It's like a lot of people don't have the self-esteem or the self-approval to just stand on their own 2 feet and go, I can just do whatever I want. Yeah. So they're like, if I'm right enough, then people will approve of me, then it's going to be okay. But kindness doesn't require that. What you said, Scott, like it's laterally, like we are on the same page.
Yeah,
Kindness is just, do what you do.
Yeah,
be kind to start.
Yeah,
great job, Barry. Thanks.
What about Debbie? What do you think, Deb?
Well, I think sometimes people associate kindness with weakness. I feel like, and what I mean by that, if you really think about some of the kindest people you even know, that'll let you like express yourself without judgment. But then if you have opposing views on something and the other person seems to just relinquish, it's not that they're weak and they're going to be swayed to think the way you're thinking. It's just sometimes kind people don't want to argue with you or be right. It's okay that they're not right. So I'm going to give you like an example. So the way I live my life and that I find joy is by being kind to people. And and I'm doing it as much for myself as I am for the other person. And I just actually did something, and I do it like every year, where I buy presents for who someone else nominates, and then they write in why they like this woman. We build each other up, and then they win something from me, and I honor them on my page. I do that for me. And it's always funny to me. Not funny isn't the right word, but it's peculiar to me that other people don't feel the same way. It's mind-boggling to me that people would rather be right and argue their point rather than just accepting someone else's view or what they think and be kind to how they feel. And I'm not even going in there, and I don't even want to discuss Roe v. Wade. But like, even in this, like I have my views, and even with someone with polar opposite views, I do not condemn them. I have an appreciation for where they're coming from. And I've really given this a lot of thought in my mind and in my heart on both sides of this. And I get it. And I could never be mean to someone for the way they view something, even though it's not my belief.
Yeah,
I'm right there. Like my thing too is I don't argue with anybody, and I play the I play the good cop, the bad cop, the in between one by saying there's no point in me, especially when people are convicted in their thoughts, for me to add my 2 cents when they're not hearing me. There's just no point. I just find it's easier to be kind and let them agree, because the friction's only going to come back to me. The energy's just going to come back to me, and I don't want that. I don't need that. So I think, and then I say, hey, they needed somebody to listen, so I try to listen, and oops, here we go.
Oop.
Are you trying? Scott and I are trying to both hit that, I think.
No, actually, I'm not doing it.
Message.
I have a couple of pages in my book that I wrote about my life growing up and how it was very important to me to be kind to other people. And even when people weren't nice back to me, it always hurt my feelings, but I wouldn't still be mean. Mm-hmm. And when I look back in reflection over the years in my growing up and whatever, I would still, it's a page where I'm talking about what my current self would go back and tell my younger self and what I would do differently, or, and what I've learned and the hurt that I've experienced from maybe other people not being kind. Yeah. I still, even though I've had those experiences, and I still wouldn't have retaliated. I would still tell my younger self, Debbie, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be kind anyway.
That's what the world needs a lot right now. The meek and mild, the gonewild.com is what I'm going to start. I'm going to have conversations with people that are meek and mild. My generation X is to be seen, not heard. And that needs to change. Hi, Sandra. And we haven't heard from Flo
Sandra.
Yet. She's sitting there.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what
beautiful.
Flo Jam.
Flo Jam. Thank
Well,
you for being here, you guys.
oh, well, thanks for having me. But Bob and I were watching a show, and it was these people they were just shoveling snow, and there was an argument, and it was not being kind cost them, because the guy had some mental break, and he ran back inside, dropped his shovel, and they were still screaming and yelling at him, saying, "We're going to make your life miserable," whatever, just taunting him. And he went in and got a gun, and he shot them both dead.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
And it was, and then he went in back in the house and he shot himself. And it was like, we don't know what, like when Bob was saying, being right, what is it? It's the ego. Why didn't they just de-escalate or stop? I mean, they were just shoveling snow, something so simple. And they got into an argument, and they just kept taunting each other back and forth. So it's, I've learned to, my cat, like, be kind with boundaries. I mean, Debbie, you were mentioning that it's like some people who are weak, they may seem weak if they're kind, but I don't see it that way. I see it being kind with boundaries.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody here would argue that Gandhi was weak. But what he knew, you could still stand up against injustice and be kind.
Yeah.
You just don't use injustice to defeat injustice.
Yeah.
And that's the lesson learned. You still stand up for what's right. You still move forward. And if you have your beliefs and your ideas and you'd like to share them, you share them. But at the end of the day, when it comes down, I've got a choice between being right and causing conflict, or being kind and having harmony in my life, in their life, in my family, in my community. We should be choosing kindness every time.
Yeah, if Scott, if I see somebody who's being unkind, one of the questions I would ask them is, what does kind mean to you?
Nice.
Because they're going to tell me what their personal constitution is and everything else. And if they say weakness, then we can have a discussion about what kindness really is to me, to him, to whatever. And so I love the idea of asking questions when I see something that I don't understand or I don't like, because a lot of times I'll jump to a conclusion if I'm not careful. But if I ask a question, what does that mean to you? I will get a lot better clarity about what it means to me and what I can do to help them see something different, or I can see something different.
That also gives us an opportunity to take someone else's perspective, because we're only operating from our own perspective. So we see things as, this is kind, or this is right, or this is whatever. Yeah. When you start asking questions, you open yourself up, and instead of letting all the noise from our own experiences be our filter, we try to open up a little bit more and listen to what they're saying without our filters on it. And we learn a whole lot that way.
Yeah.
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, happy birthday, Miss Debbie.
Thank you so much for my message. I so appreciate it. You guys are great. Always so good to me.
It's always so beautiful because, I love this topic. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what kind of came to my mind? I'm always so acutely attuned to kindness, because it's one of my core values. And I think we all share that, because that's why we're here. It's really interesting because, as a conscious leadership coach, what I'm finding truly with people, and why I'm so passionate about raising consciousness, is how we do that is through emotional intelligence. Mm-hmm. And so for me as an EQI practitioner, adding those two things in, just becoming knowledgeable, like you were just talking about, is the why. Why are they acting the way they are? If we can begin to sense and understand our own self around our emotions. Ring, ring, ring. That to me is that key piece. It's the piece, it's like, how do we dig in there? And that awakening of self acknowledgement and then self-expression. Because
Yeah.
people who, if you're not expressing yourself, people can become very frustrated. They don't know how to express it in a positive way. And so I find that's especially in leaders, and that's kind of who I deal with. They tend to either become micromanagers, they shut down people, I'm experiencing it's quite interesting in the work that I'm doing now in the health region. I see great leadership, and at the same time, I'm observing people who perhaps can have those feelings of being threatened. And so, are they open? Are they kind? Are they inviting other people's perspectives? So, yeah, that's kind of what came to me in this moment. Is it's all about emotional intelligence and raising our consciousness, like that self-awareness, how we express ourselves, balancing, and just becoming present.
Oh, there goes Mark. Yes, Mark.
Sandra, that was awesome. I would say that,
That's
I don't want to do that. I'm not mess with these voices here. These things are crazy.
I was like, what is that?
Your new toy.
Kindness begins with being kind to yourself, right? What is
Yeah,
your
100%.
self-talk? What's it saying? Hurt people, right?
Yes.
So some people wake up in the morning and their initial reaction is, it's going to be a shitty day today. I've got to get in my car. I've got to drive now an hour to work. And when you start out the day with that tone, the tone is set for your day the moment you open your eyes. Some people feel they have to go to work. Other people feel they get to go to work, right? So I've been in the automotive training industry, since at least 2000.
I was going to say, since you were a baby.
I love it.
But I'll tell you though, when I wake up in the morning, my feet hit the ground, hit the floor, it's going to be a great day. That's the self-talk. It's going to be a great day. I do an air high five.
But you're making a choice. You're making a choice,
It is
Mark.
a choice. 100%.
Choose positivity and gratitude. And that's the first step.
And he wants to be right too, so he's going to be kind.
Well, here's the thing, being right. So listen, there is something to that saying, being right. That's not a negative to be right. In other words, instead of beating myself up, right? If I do something where I fall short, instead of using the negative self-talk, I say something a little more proactive, something a little more positive, like, that's not like me. No, that's not like me. Or, hey, that's just like me. So it's a question of, as Sandra said, this conscious choice, this decision on how you're going to show up. So I've chosen to, I laugh. I love to listen. I love to make people laugh. That's for me.
We should do laughter therapy right now for wherever people are in this world. Let's do laughter. Come on, gang. You ready? Let's go.
It's contagious.
Hey, the last I knew, this was Lynn and Scott's show.
Come on, everybody.
Lynn has to be right. That's right.
That's right.
It's her show. She had to be right.
That's right.
Let's get some applause there. Come on.
But Sandra, do you also remember, like I talked to Lynn about this and I've talked about this on the show before. Sandra, do you remember the laugh box? It's a little black box when we were kids. And you'd push the button and it would laugh hysterically. And then you're like laughing and you're like, I have a black box that laughs at me. And it's like the family fun time. Every time you push it, you start laughing. It's like if it's legitimate, it really makes you laugh.
We could laugh after watching this because she's adorable.
Tomorrow's the big day with Jim Tressel and Dr. Brian Cohen on my show. But that's not what I'm here to talk about right now. Okay, so I got this outfit. Okay. You can put the sleeves up like that or down like that. I'm going to show you the rest of it. And some people might think it's a little juvenile for my age, but I'm kind of liking it. So hold on. See, it has a ruffle. Especially like
That is amazing.
the freakishly
Debbie?
long arms
Debbie?
always.
You
We
put
got to
it on
set that to some
Facebook.
music. We got to set that to music.
Yes.
Debbie, you put that on Facebook, so it's proprietary.
I
to
know it
the
was on the
brother.
fabulous page. It was
Yeah.
showing my outfit, but now it's not on the fabulous page. It's wherever Lynn decides it's going to go.
Lynn's
That
library,
is
yeah.
amazing,
Library.
Debbie.
Oh,
You're
God.
so
But you-
I enjoyed
adorable.
that.
This is a perfect example, though, that we covet humor. We embrace imperfection because that's where humor lives. We don't laugh at Mr. Bean because he does everything right. We laugh at him because he does everything wrong. We don't
Correct.
laugh at Charlie Chaplin because he's perfect. We laugh at him because he's imperfect. We
Yeah.
never laughed at Robin Williams because he was so smart. We laughed at him for those times when he was so dumb. And what I'm saying is we celebrate not rightness, but we celebrate just the human existence of making mistakes and everything else. But when it comes to us, we sit in such judgment of ourselves that I can't make mistakes. I can't just be. If somebody laughs at me, it's a bad thing. Well, you know what? If I slip and fall on the ice, if I'm not bleeding out, go ahead and laugh. If I'm bleeding out, do something different. But
Well, Scott, for some people, the soundtrack of their life is just a continuous.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I just, I started every radio show I did with the same song. It was Perry Como's "It's a Good Day," and it's all about it's a good day to do something new. It's a good day to put away the pills. It's a good day to just live. And if we stop beating ourselves up so much, if we stop trying to look at the things we have and hold them up as a monument to who we are, and start just being better human beings and being kinder and being more decent and laughing at ourselves and with others, everything's going to be so much better. I'm tired of somebody who goes to Harvard telling me they're better than somebody who went to St. Rita Moreno College. It's the same law program. It's the same law program, but we elevate people for no good
Amen to
reason.
that. Wow,
And
that's
we
so
all
true.
buy into it, and that's why. Listen, I still like to be right. I play Trivial Pursuit. I don't sit down to play the game so I'll lose. I play the game so I'll win.
Yeah.
But when it comes to family and community and neighbors and just people in general, who cares if I'm right? When my head hits the pillow, I want to know if I made somebody smile today. I want to know if somebody touched my heart today and if I touched somebody else's heart. And that's all that really matters. That's all that really matters. Lonely people drive Cadillacs. Lonely people drive Lamborghinis. I've seen happy people ride their bikes to work. So,
Oh yeah.
let's
Scott,
change
can
the
I
way
play
we
a
see
few
things.
bars of that? It's a good day.
Please go ahead.
It's been a good night for singing a song. It's been a good night for moving along with such a good night. How could anything go wrong? A good night from sunset to dawn. It was a good day.
That's it. That's it.
You know, Scott, one of the things that I really want to address is I found that boundaries are one of the kindest things we can do for ourselves and for people.
Certainly.
And so setting that boundary, if we have a misconception that boundaries are hurtful, are going to be mean, are going to be, abusive, then we're screwed from the beginning if we want to be kind or we want to be right. But I found over and over again that the kinder I am is going to be based on the boundaries I've set for myself and for others. And that always wins.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love that. I gotta run now. I love you all. I gotta go to a board meeting. So much love.
Bye.
Love you, Sandra.
Bye. Bye,
Um,
everybody.
Bob,
Bob,
boundaries.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Gary. No, go ahead.
No, you're the birthday.
Because I talk
You're the
plenty.
birthday girl. You're the birthday girl.
Okay. Well, Bob, I was just want to say when you're talking about boundaries, and others have touched on it as well. Boundaries is something that was very difficult for me because I felt like I was always more concerned about hurting someone else's feelings.
Right.
Until I realized as I got older and when I started really figuring out who I was, that some of the relationships that we have aren't always the healthiest for us. And if we're going to be our best self to be better for the good relationships, then we need to create those.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you don't care about the person. It just simply means, right, that it's just not as healthy. So
Yeah, I think it means the opposite. I think it means that we do care for them when we set those
Yeah.
boundaries. We actually care more for them when we set those boundaries than
I
if we
agree.
didn't, because then they know exactly what the boundary is. It's not
Mhm.
a guideline like I always talk about. It's a
That's right.
boundary. You're out of bounds or you're in bounds. Period.
Right. And as
that's
long
the
as
most
they
merciless thing I think we can do for people is to let them know what that is, so they have certainty.
Yeah, that's so true. But what I mean is when you go so long and then all of a sudden it's like you're changing up the rules on people.
Amen.
But when you do that, you have to then still remember it's okay. It's what you need as a human being to be better for yourself.
And that they need.
Right.
Yeah.
They need
Someone's
that.
going to say, the thing was, I think is that most of us were not raised in a family that taught us those things. So what you're saying, David, is so true. We don't, as kids, we don't know what boundaries really are, because we don't really understand what it's about, because our parents don't usually teach us. The thing about boundaries, so I do a lot of work with boundaries with my coaching clients in relationships, because that's where people don't do it. But the thing is, I teach people, one of the things I learned myself is one of the biggest things we do with boundaries is by saying no. Because what you're saying, Bob, is so true. We overextend ourselves when we're trying to be nice to people and trying to be kind.
Yeah.
Is we want to say yes to everything, and then we don't deliver. People start to be disappointed in us.
Mm-hmm.
So
listen, guys,
the boundary is a one-time thing, but reaffirming the boundary over and over again so that they know that the boundary is a real boundary is a whole other ball.
And and I was going to talk.
Great statement.
I was going to talk into that little cue there, and then Scott, I'll let you go if you don't mind. Is that sometimes when you didn't set the boundaries to begin with, sometimes what you got to do is detach from that person in silence, is what I've had to do for myself. And then when we revisit the friendship, I go, well, this isn't what I liked, or this isn't, I held my tongue too long about this and that, and I don't appreciate that. So sometimes when it's just too much and you were silent for a long time, sometimes you just walk away. And if the relationship means anything to them or to you, give it some time and revisit it and have that discussion that needs to be reestablished in the reconnection.
I'll tell you what, I love boundaries, because if not, I wouldn't know when to stop mowing the lawn. I'd just keep going into the next person's yard, the next person's yard. I'd leave on Sunday morning. I'll be back sometime next month. You have to know where boundaries are, so you know this is what I have to take care of.
Scott,
I have to know this. Let me tell you something else too with boundaries.
I like it.
And you're right, Barry. The word "no" is how you set boundaries. People fell into this, and I know it was a big thing, came out in the 70s, and everybody became like, I'm a people pleaser, and they walk around saying people please, which is a bullshit concept in itself, because the reason I'm overextending myself is because I need you to feel a certain way about me. I'm not doing it to please you. I'm doing it so that you will feel something about me. The reason I can't say no is because I can't take the idea that you might be disappointed in me. It's got nothing to do with pleasing people. It's got everything to do with me being an emotional vampire, just sucking all my emotions out of you and making you something. But when I know my boundaries and know that this is my lawn, this is what I have to take care of. This is where I have to, without knowing what my boundaries were, I could never change my life. I could never defeat alcoholism and drug addiction. I could never defeat violence and the anger that I had. I had to know where my boundaries were, and I did not know that as long as I said yes to everything. I have to know how to do that, but that's got nothing to do with kindness. That's just a simple human fact that I've got to know where Scott ends and begins. And then from there, when I can start working on all of that, and my lawn is nice, then I will invite people over to sit on my lawn and play horseshoes and have a cookout and eat noodle salad, and we'll have a good time. But if I don't have those boundaries, I lose my sense of self. And when I lose my sense of self, I have to go rob someone else's. And that's when I start play acting and I start, looking at the wrong things to build up who I am.
Truth.
That's really, really good stuff.
Including the fact that when you're people that have been kind for so long, they've just at their ropes because they know that people around them don't play from the same rules. Not everybody read or has the same mannerisms to know the rules of kindness. And so, you can continue to be the pillar of kindness and, or move on. You know, you don't have to be right in the situation, but I think the more kind people are around, I think the awkward becomes the ones that are not kind. I think it becomes obvious to others that they're not being kind. And I think that's really important to say that Scott, well done. Well said.
I'm picturing in my head a world where everybody thinks the way I think, and that world would suck. If everybody rooted for the Philadelphia Eagles and nobody rooted for any other team, well, certainly there'd be no conflict, but there'd be no sense in even playing the game then.
Right. And that's the thing. And nobody respects other people's opinions. That's the problem.
Right.
And like you said, we shouldn't all be alike. We should be all different, but
it's so
we should
fun
agree
to be different.
Disagree. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. It's so fun to meet new people and see their perspective and appreciate
the contrast. Yeah, the contrast is exciting.
It is.
And I think one of the things that that I always come back to is you can extend grace to someone without enabling them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think grace is one of those things that we've reserved for religious, and yet grace is something that we as humans can extend to each other without any cost to ourselves, if we understand that we don't have to lose something in order to gain that ability to.
Absolutely.
I love this. This might be Jerry.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So what was that? We need to write that in the comments. You can give people grace with what?
You can extend grace without enabling. It's a next level.
Without enabling, yeah.
Yeah. It's right there with, I don't have to agree with somebody to be empathetic towards what they're feeling or what they're going through, because the feeling is the feeling. It's got nothing to do with whether I agree with them or not. My empathy is my grace. It's me extending myself. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. You want to read that, Scott?
I firmly believe that each and every person has the right to be wrong.
That's got to be Joe Ingram.
No, that might be.
That actually does sound like a Joe Ingram comment.
That comes right from the people who say, I'm very accepting. I accept the fact that you're an asshole. That's not acceptance.
Yeah.
That's judgment.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, look, I thought it was Jerry. Yep.
Oh,
Jerry.
wow.
He says Jerry.
Funny.
Yeah,
Jerry.
StreamYard does the same thing to me. You know, and Jerry's got a StreamYard and he always goes live. So do I. You know, we
But Lynn, why does it do that, Lynn?
I don't know. I've clicked every link approval part and it doesn't. And we have accounts. We got big paying accounts. I don't understand why they're treating us like that.
I don't get that.
I don't
It's
understand.
personal, I don't think.
What's that?
I don't think it's a personal attack at us.
No, it's not.
It's a
It's
glitch.
I don't think StreamYard is extending us that grace to
send StreamYard a message.
Yeah, grace
without enabling. Excellent.
He said extend grace without enabling. Did I read that in your book, or you've said it before?
It's one of my next level pillars. It's a next level pillar.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
It's not in my book.
No, I know, but he has a book here. He's going to be on our show tomorrow night.
I'm excited.
I'm promoting that. So
we got to rename this show the All Stars. This has just got to be the All. You guys, every one of you, have just walked such a great path. You extend such great thoughts and such thoughtfulness into your lives. This is a beautiful group of people. I just want to. I got to tell you, I'm honored that you would spend time with Lynn and I. You guys are wonderful. You really are.
We're going to wrap it up here. I want to be under an hour. So I know we're going to end with Debbie there, the birthday girl, but Flo, any last words you want to say before we leave?
No. Happy birthday, Debbie.
Go with the flow. We got go with the flow. I've called her go with the flow. I've called Flow Jam.
Flow Jam.
Flow Rider. Flow Rider for the Flow Rider.
Oh no, her jam is the jam. I mean, it's beyond delicious. It's a young jam. Yep, it is so good.
I don't know if I learned how to be nice or kind or anything else, but I'm gonna get some damn jam. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. And she does the peanut brittle. She calls it peanut crackle, but yeah.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Barry.
Thank you. You guys have been so good to me.
You really are.
So good.
Love you, Debbie.
Love you back.
I love Debbie more.
Look, his name is Debbie.
I love her most.
Birthday fan.
If
He
I
was her
loved her
mom.
anymore, it would be
love her,
inappropriate.
period.
No, I'm joking. It wouldn't be inappropriate.
It's where you raise
I'm choosing to be nice to you instead of being right now. So
There you go.
good to see you, Mark.
Do
I gotta
your
be
birthday
cool to be
dance
kind,
again.
right?
Oh,
No, you
yeah.
don't. No, you don't.
So,
birthday dance.
so any
All right.
last words, Mark?
I think Scott said it best. We're amongst, they say that great minds think alike, and I think every person here has just kindness is just a part of our DNA, and some it's not. Here's the thing, kindness, it could always be, gosh, it's a choice. It really, really, really is a choice. And we talk about enabling yourself to have that grace. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't give ourselves that grace. And so those people who generally have to be right all the time don't give themselves the grace to be wrong. And so it's that internal conflict. And just kindness wins. Kindness allows you to sleep at peace. When you've got to be right, and you find yourself just with that inner anger, that angry part of your personality, or that person's personality, that brings on illness. It affects every part of your life. And so, I'm very, very honored to be here, and you guys rock. This is a community of kindness. You guys look to serve other people. You show up as the best version of yourselves in service to others. So I'm very proud to be here, and thank you for letting me be here.
Love you, Mark.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome.
Thank you, Mark.
Number one
Thank you.
birthday. fan.
Mark, you belong here too.
Thank
Yes.
you, brother. Appreciate
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Barry.
Barry.
What's something I thought about earlier, which is kindness is good for your health. So I'll leave that one there as well. The other part, though, is make it conscious. Like we talked about boundaries and saying no. But what if you were consciously enabling, as in assisting other people in a way that can help them get where they want to go? That's kindness as well for me. So make it conscious.
Yeah.
Nice.
And happy birthday, Deb.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you for your special message too. I appreciate it. I love you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Donnell.
I'll go back to, again, a next level pillar that just says that kindness to yourself and to others is a superpower.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Miss Birthday Girl.
What about Flo? Oh, she already went. Didn't
She read, yeah.
Okay. It's all about Flo tonight.
It's your birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Nothing beats the jam. Come on.
I know.
It's delicious. I'm telling you.
I thought of something, and being kind is being kind to everybody, not just to people who you think is going to benefit you.
That's right. Well said.
And that's really means something to me. And I know, gosh, I can't give away my age. So like 5 years ago, after I graduated from high school,
She went to school with her kids.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
She adopted them,
Yeah. So my mom used to go play bingo, and she went to play bingo, and there was a special needs woman there. And my mom was talking to her, and she said who her daughter was, because she said that she went to Chillicothe High School, and she told her, and she goes, oh, Debbie's your daughter. She's my best friend. And mom said in that moment that she's never been more proud of me. So, and I remember her, and I was always very nice to her. And, back when I was school, they had special learning disability classes, and they called it, learning disability. And so that is not, I just want to say, it doesn't matter who you meet. If it's like you guys said, at the grocery store and the person who's ringing you up, be kind. It means something to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Well said.
Well said.
Yeah, well said.
My turn.
Yes, dear.
All right. Kindness is a deliberate act. It's a deliberate act instigated by yourself. If it is motivated by someone else, then it's a reaction. It's not. It's nothing else. It's just like showing respect to somebody. If you will still have that bullshit idea that people have to earn your respect, then it's a sad existence to be in. I show respect because that's who I want to be. I show kindness because that's who I want to be. It doesn't matter about anybody else when it comes to this formula. When my head hits the pillow, I don't get to sit in judgment of anybody but my own actions. And my actions, if they're not kind, if they're not respectful, and if I spent more time trying to be right than I was just trying to be nice, I don't sleep as well. I think Mark said something about that too, sleeping well at night. Guys, and what's great is when you end up with a synergy of like-minded people who get together, and maybe if we had a little bit more of this, people would start to follow that. So God bless you all. I thank you all for being here. You guys are wonderful, wonderful people. And Debbie, the greatest birthday ever for you.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
It's already
Enjoy it.
been. And it's not even here yet. I've already had a great birthday.
So
Wait. It's not even here yet?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh, see, now she's just bogarting an extra day off of us.
Hey, listen, I dragged that shit out.
Listen.
That was Lynn's idea.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't her
week of
idea.
Debbie. She's doing a whole week.
Yeah.
It's the whole month.
She demanded
But
that I
we all
didn't
have
say
to be
anything.
back here tomorrow at the same time.
That's right.
You know, you got.
And Debbie, what's your sign?
It's a Cancer. I'm a Cancer.
You know, as far as kindness, you guys, kindness has made a big difference in my life. Back in the day, I was invisible. I went through a lot of things in my life. And if it wasn't for some certain kinds of people that were kind to me and noticed me, and I felt what it was to feel kindness. And at my darkest days, I've had some of the nicest, kindest people be kind to me. And it was because they were kind to me, were times that were the darkest and lowest in my life, that I mattered, that somebody heard me. And I say this, now I realize that being kind is something I love to do and give. Even when I want to get the Latina chick and be angry, I can't, because what turned my life around is people that believed and saw and loved me and gave me the grace when I needed it the most. And I was at the receiving end of times that I needed to see that I was worth something. And so the kindness I give to people, even when they're the ugliest, because I was an ugly girl, I was just mean and misunderstood. But when I saw the kindness and felt it, I love giving kindness. That's why I love surprising people. I love doing the things I do, because the kindness comes from a deep place of gratitude for the people that took time in my life and acknowledged me. And all I can do is pay it forward in respect and honor. Most of them are not here now, so they're part of my life. And I do that even when I want to be pissed off. I can't. I'll be I'll swear, but then I'm over it, because I'm telling you, they were great mentors. They were great angels brought to me among many ugly people around me.
But
So I've learned.
that Latina check is still there. She's still in there.
But yeah, but you know what? Out of respect for everybody. But anyways, no. So I just wanted to say that, you know, you don't have to be cruel to be kind. You have to be kind to get kind back. But if that person isn't ready for receiving it, know it that you could be that needle in the haystack that says, why the heck are you nice to me when everybody else is like shit with me? It might take you to make a difference into somebody that's ugly to become kind. That's what I want to leave you guys with.
Okay.
So anyways, thank you guys so much. I think this is a wrap. I don't even know where my closing video is, but I'm going to close with this one. You guys stay right there for a second. And happy birthday to you. Ready?
Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday
Gotcha.
to you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday.
to you.
Cha cha cha.
Happy birthday.
We should
Happy-
change that to happy birthday to you, Flo Jam. Happy birthday to you, Flo
Slow
Jam.
jam.
1-800 Flow Jam right here.
Okay. You guys, seriously, on my page is Flo's link to the edible farm girl edible.com. Is that correct? Right?
Farm
No, is
Girl
that-
Edibles.
What is it?
Farm Girl Edibles.
Farm
Farm
Girl
Girl
Edibles.
Somehow Lynn always makes things sound a little
But not that kind of edibles.
I'm
Make sure.
dyslexic. I can't help it. Anyways, you
For,
guys.
for a final thought, it's better to be yummy than kind. Have some Flow Jam.
Love you guys. Have a good one. And
Now
get the
that's
jam
my
on
kind of-
one way or another. Thank you guys for being here. It's an honor and a pleasure to be, I call you guys my friends, and I love each and every one of you. So God bless, and everybody have a good, kind day every day.
Every
Bye.
day.
Keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall